Hello and welcome to Hosk CRM Dev, the Hosk here. Today just thought I would try to do a kind of a weekly roundup. On my blog I do a weekly pick of the top articles, and I thought I would just go through this to show you, to discuss really why they're good articles and why you should check them out and what you'll learn from them. So let's do that. I like to start with a positive thumbs up. This week we have Chuck Norris looking like a dude. Right, so article of the week this week is the amazing article, 4 articles in fact, from Scott Duro on Fiddler 2. Fiddler 2 is a kind of tool you use for JavaScript debugging often, and HTML. It catches or lets you know about the calls going to and from web servers. So he goes through, and this is a really great articles. It focuses on how to use Fiddler 2, and you can use this when you're actually on the server of a CRM deployment. And Scott Duro is a CRM MVP who has done a lot of work. I think it's something called Sparkle XRM. He's a very knowledgeable developer, so when he writes articles, they're often particularly good to have a look at, give you really in-depth knowledge. And he just goes through a web debugger, and basically you can see there from this little picture that you have web resources coming from the server and to the client, and Fiddler 2 basically sits in between there and kind of logs all that information for you, so you can see what's being passed, what's coming back. And he just goes through using Fiddler 2. I haven't actually had much experience with Fiddler 2. I don't tend to do much JavaScript debugging, but I have used it a couple of times. It's been very useful. So this would definitely be a good kind of introduction to it and a way for you to understand how Fiddler 2 works. Because Fiddler 2, when you open it up, there's just loads of options and it can be quite confusing. So I definitely recommend you go through this. It's got it's got superheroes, so that is good. He also shows ways of how to kind of use Fiddler 2 so it responds, so you don't even have to go to the server, to allow you to kind of debug on the servers. So I definitely recommend going through that. That's my article of the week. If you're going to read any article this week, go through that. Next is CRM2 supportability. Is that even a word? So basically, Internet Explorer 11, I have problems using Internet Explorer. It seems to crash all the time, especially using CRM. You'd think Microsoft owned both, that it would work, but no, it doesn't. So and CRM 2013 is often now going to be deployed on Windows 8 computers, where they will probably have Internet Explorer, and they have a sneaky thing where it upgrades Internet Explorer automatically. So it's good to know this. Basically here we've got Rollup 2 will support Internet Explorer 11, and on-premise that will be in Rollup 2. And then in CRM 2011 on-premise, we're going to have to wait until Q4 2014. So you've got a while to wait there, but obviously CRM 2011 is not their high priority. Next up, we have a list of a blog list from Robert Peledi. Oh, I'm terrible at names. Sorry, Rob. And he's got a list of blogs you should follow, and I follow all these blogs, so I can definitely recommend them all. Mine in no particular order, but mine is at the top. So that is in an order, I think. All these are good. He's an MVP, as you can see, a good developer. Yaka, he was featured on the MVP list this week. Tanguy. Oh God, Tanguy! I was told how to say that, I've forgotten. They're all really good blogs. Definitely subscribe to all these. and get going with those. This is a really good one. Obviously, I did this recently where CRM 2011, you have workflows and it shows a sort of successful, whether they've been run successfully. And you can use this to kind of debug for problems. You can see what the workflow ran, what it changed and how it worked, or if it errored out and if it's working as normal. But in CRM 2013, there is this button now which says delete completed workflows to save disk space. Now this is probably important for CRM online when you've only got a limited amount of disk space, but it's also not very good for developers because I think automatically it's not selected anymore, so that you go to look to see if your workflows run successfully, there's nothing there. So I was under the belief that it wasn't working at all and big things were going wrong, but actually what was happening was it was being deleted. So this article just tells you how to turn it back on and where to view your processed sessions. So that's quite a good one, especially if you're debugging. I created a static page this week whilst I was reviewing the new XRM Toolbox workflow plugin workflow synchronous events execution order editor. I thought I would just create a static page on my blog, which is under this. There it is. So under Hosk Microsoft Dynamics CRM Development, there's a CRM 2013 tools. And this, when I find new tools, I'm going to add them onto this list. So I've got a list of them. And these are all good stuff. I will go through and review these when I have time. Gives you a description, but this is definitely worth. And these are I haven't listed all of them. These are the ones I think are good and useful. Next one we've got is help. 10 resources to help administrators. It's quite interesting. You've got some blogs. Obviously, mine isn't included there. That's about, so that could be 11 resources really. So another excellent bunch of blogs. CRM in the field, I do like a lot. That's where you got basically Microsoft have an engineering CRM team, and when you have problems, support, and if it can't be resolved easily, they get these dudes out to go and basically kind of sort out the problem. So they are the top boys. So it's worth listening for their blogs, and they're often very technical and very interesting. We've got some more pieces of information. So that's quite a good one to go through and have a look. So I reviewed the plugin and workflow synchronous event in a YouTube video and a blog if you're interested. It's worth looking at that, especially if you're a developer. It's quite a useful tool. This week, Yaka Khan, he was answered the Hosk questions. It's good, interesting insight from him. And we have now the CALs. Basically, CRM 2013 has changed the kind of the licenses you need. CALs, client access license, that basically what they can run. And you've got 3 different ones. I've read a number of different articles, but basically I think it's always interesting to look at them because I keep forgetting how they work. And so it's always good just to kind of remind you. And this one's from Greg Olson. And so you can see here, this is the basic. They can only do these things. Oh no, actually. Oh, essential, basic, and pro. So sometimes you'll have problems where basically a user can't do something, it's not working, and this is due to the license they've got. Licenses only have a different set of things that they can actually edit or do or assign and things like that. So it's worth looking at these so you understand those. You might better sort of sort some problems out before they occur, and you'll need to know this if you are a consultant, and you'll need to sort of advise your clients of how many CALs they need and what type. So it's definitely worth understanding this. from a developer's point of view as well, because you'll maybe find some bugs before they really get going. This is good. Business process flows were new functionality, and I think now the CRM community is kind of really getting to grips with these, because I'm starting to see more articles. Yesterday we had some. A couple of weeks ago we had some JavaScript to kind of help you with these with the business flows and kind of editing stuff on there. And then today we've got they've written flipping it right. Power Objects have written a blog and basically saying how you can fire off a workflow after a certain process stage, and you've got these options now of process stages of when to trigger your workflow. So they basically, when they press the next stage, you can fire a workflow off and then kind of get hold of the pieces of information they've changed and kind of do something there. So this is a very useful tool, because with the business process flows, you're trying to automate kind of business processes, and then you may need to kind of kick off a load of stuff after each stage has been completed, and get data ready for the next stage perhaps. So this is a really useful one, I think. That's a very good blog post. Contact management. So this is a new blog, and from Finland, I think. And they're just talking about addresses. Addresses in CRM are slightly odd. They kind of get held in a separate entity, but you can't access that entity. And also on things like addresses and contacts, they often have two addresses, and most people just want the same address in both. So they talk about here how to automate the process of filling in both. And you can either do it by business rules, or they talk about doing some JavaScript. So this is a useful blog post to kind of, if you want to understand addresses in CRM. And here we have I think he's Salim Adamon, yeah. Okay, he was looking at the CRM 2013 SDK, and I think he noticed that they've basically updated the metadata browser. This is a browser that allows you to view all the fields and attribute privileges for each entity. It's useful, it's free, so just put it in, plug it in, and have a go. And is that all? Oh, I've also got installing CRM 2013. This is a step-by-step guide, very, very detailed, absolutely fantastic. When I was installing CRM 2013, well, I've only done it once, I think. When I was installing CRM 2011, these step-by-step guides were absolutely fantastic, because you could just go through it and then sort of make sure you were matching what they were going through here. So that's very useful. This is really something to plop away in your favourites when and if you need it. Finally, a video that CRM 2013 error, adding the CRM app pool as a CRM user. This is a terrible error. If you experience it, basically you do that and instantly CRM stops working for every single user. You get rather scared and sweaty until you calm down and you sort of fix it. This just goes through the process of fixing it and talks about it. It's worth noting, just in case you do it, what happens is you usually do it accidentally, trying to add in a test user or something like that, but the effects are catastrophic. So I thought I'd end here with a little roundup of what I've been doing this week. This week I've been mainly on bug fixing really. We've put our release in and the customer is testing it in the dev and assist test environment. I had a cheeky bug this week where they reported an error and I've tried it and it worked. So I was thinking, well, okay, what is the problem here? And basically, I was thinking it must be around security roles, and the actual installation is a multiple CRM server installation. You've got multiple front end servers, multiple back end servers, and the basic problem is that I was testing it on one of the servers where we had updated all the components, and they were testing it on random servers based upon which CRM server they were being given by the load balancer. And basically what was happening was that we hadn't updated some of the components on a couple of the other servers, and so they were using the old version, and it wasn't working. So this kind of tells you that when you are trying to bug fix problems, I kind of followed through the logs. I tried it, and I was jumping to conclusions that it was security based. So I wasted a bit of time looking at their security roles and checking that. And then finally, I was having to look at the logs on each server and found that they were getting an error because the code they were using wasn't the most up-to-date version, because the code on that server wasn't the most up-to-date version. So that is the end of my weekly roundup. I don't know if people want a weekly roundup or enjoy it, but I guess we'll just see. We'll see if there's any people watch the video, see if anyone leaves any comments, and I'll do it for a few weeks to see how it goes. Well, thank you very much, and have a good weekend, everybody.